Not all advice is created equal, but having the right insights can be the difference between success and failure. So we never stop looking. This is Consulting to Go. New York City. There's no place in the world quite like it. More than 8.5 million people call this city home. And every day, visitors from across the globe come here to live, work, and play. I came here to meet with veteran Accenture consultant Jean-Laurent Petou to talk about the future of business and technology in the digital age. We are here in New York's Times Square, and I look around and there are more screens streaming more content from more different companies and advertisers than anywhere in the world.
It's constant streaming of video content, and video content is the most demanding content for network. Networks no longer are connected wires with switches. Networks are computers with software that does all the work. First things first, networks have to cope with the order of magnitude increase in volume they got to be able to transfer to this very place. It's the software that becomes what makes or doesn't make an enjoyable, seamless, smooth, interactive customer experience for those people around us.
In Times Square alone, it's like 350,000 people on an average day come through here with their phones. They're taking pictures, they are streaming video. How important, when you talk to clients, is speed and scale for them to get the magnitude that the customers demand?
The demands on the real-time monitoring and adapting of the capacity of the networks for our customers is increasing with this high volume of video content. What we're here to do is help them cope with where do you next put your money. Because you want to put your money where it matters most to your customer. Right. That requires both a lot of engineering work to help our clients make those networks, but it also leverages our ability to analyze data, right, so that we can say, well, this seems to be right now where the action is, and it isn't where it was yesterday because things are moving very fast.
Especially when the ball drops on New Year's Eve and 1 million people stand around here, another billion stream it to their homes. You know, it's amazing. All right, Jean-Laurent, let's get on the big screen. Let's stream the network. Well, do you want to take a look at New York and see what's going on?
Let's do that.
From Times Square's endless network of screens, we headed east to New York's famed Fifth Avenue. Just like fast fashion, it seems like the trends in the technology ecosystem are changing so fast. How are you helping clients attract and retain customers in this really turbulent market?
Well, there are a number of components that we are uniquely positioned at Accenture to help our client make happen. The first one is agile innovation, fast time to market of anything they do for their clients. Yeah. That time to market thing is something we know how to help accelerate. The second thing is a very individualized knowledge of who your customer is. You want to be recognized. You want it to be yours, and you want the person in front of you to have the tablet saying, oh, I see, that's what you finally ended up with. Was that really what you wanted? That's what we call the omni-channel, because it is the continuation of recognizing the same individual, whatever the touch point with the company, with the retailer, with the operator is. That's something that we bring to our clients. Defining what the customer experience must feel like. We're talking about feeling like. Yeah. We're not talking about technicalities here.
You're helping clients so much empower their customers and enable their customers in ways that you couldn't dream of 5 years ago or a year ago. Our car arrived in a New York minute, and with that, we were off to our next destination. Are there any, business model innovations that have really surprised you in the last few years?
Well, one of the things that strikes me is that you would find many examples in the media of consumer-centric disruptions. And we're driving a car, which I just order on my phone. That's a very consumer-centric change. But
a very convenient one.
Many business-to-business companies are now realizing that they need to change everything to as a service. That pervasiveness of the disruption that digital brings, not just in the consumer world, but in the business-to-business world, is probably one of the biggest trends that's going to pick up pace and surprise all of us more than we think today.
And still data-driven, be it consumer data or in this case, usage data.
That key role that data plays requires a very different set of skills. We need people who can actually help our clients be faster interpreting this data, making sense of this data. It's all good that you sit on tons of data, but if you can't turn it into something that makes money for you, that's a completely new set of skills that is emerging as a critical skill in the consulting area, and one which we are investing heavily.
One of the coolest attractions in the city, the High Line is a 1.5 mile long elevated park that's not just beautiful and functional, but a very different way to go from point A to point B.
Think about this imperative to have the best talent in order to be fastest to market, in order to be able to provide an experience that the digital natives and that the non-digital natives will all relate to. You need great talent to do that. Keeping the best talent is a matter of money to some extent, but only to some extent, because the reality is, first of all, the currencies have changed.
Right.
It's not just about the cash, it's about the wealth creation opportunity that working for a company may offer. And then, how do you create a purpose for those people? How do you actually make them feel like what they do creates a meaning, creates a change in somebody's life?
And
so that
connection.
sense of purpose is actually at least as important. And then the ability to balance work and personal life is also all important in the ability to manage talent appropriately and retain talent. If all you're doing is long hours and no time for yourself, it just ain't gonna work anymore.
Right.
So that's what retaining talent is about. When you manage your workforce in a much more fluid, some people are actually your employees, others are subcontractors, others are vendors. It's a world where new tools, new ways of managing your workforce are emerging to something that is much more based on combinations of skills and roles and strengths.
As if on cue, our conversation about liquid workforce quickly turned to rain. So we decided to head indoors to Accenture's Fjord studio in Soho to talk about the new IT and the changing role of the CIO. We're here at Fjord, which is part of Accenture Interactive, which is like an ideation hub.
But what we see around here is the definition of what customers are going to experience. What role can the CIO, with all the legacy system that process all these transactions, play in making the technology an enabler of that radically different customer experience? That's what new IT is about.
I think of the analogy of an orchestra, and the CIO, I think, is probably the maestro with playing the orchestra.
The CIO must be able to rely on people like the people at Fjord to help find those new IT solutions. So that's why we consider that rotating to the new, as we say at Accenture, is so important.
Right.
And particularly to the CIO, so that he or she can actually be a proposal force for how technology can enable the new customer experience, can enable the new data mining idea.
So when you go to a large multinational CIO, what kind of trends do you help them see?
We help CIOs understand that there are now radically new ways of developing. You can automate much more than used to be the case. Artificial intelligence, cognitive, many different CPU-hungry ways of developing technology are now available at the fingertips of anyone. We help them figure out what this means to the factory side of the IT shop, how it can be more automated, more agile, and at the same time cheaper. And so we help them both with new delivery approaches and with new ways of architecting the information system and all the surrounding technology components that will make the new possible.
I came to New York City to learn about the future of business and technology, but my time with Jean Laurent helped me see the city in a whole new light. The future is right now. It's all around us, and Accenture Consulting is helping clients transform the digital and the physical world in ways we can only imagine.